ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 28 with Matthew and Mike on the Bowls Breakdown podcast. A little bit different scenery today.
Yeah.
And we are really delighted to have our guest today, Mr. Mike Kent. Welcome, Mike. Thanks for spending your time here. So just a bit of update for them before we come back to you. We're in Cardiff Indoor Bowls.
Yes. Yeah. Spent many an hour here over the years, yeah.
And now it's your sons out there bowling.
It is indeed, yeah. Very proud of them.
Yeah. Under 25s, men, women, having a bit of a practice game before the...
last one before the internationals. We'll, by the time this episode is aired, we'd know how they got on. So.
Yeah, we would have, yes, because this will go out after,
after
the M series. Mike, one hell of a bowls career you've got, boy.
Well, it's a lengthy one. I've been around a long time, you know. So
okay, so we start the same way in every episode. Yeah. It's a bit of a journey what our guests have gone through. Where did it all start for you?
Well, I'll keep it as brief as possible.
No, you tell us a full story.
Well, I was very fortunate enough to be born into a hotbed of bowls, really, at my village club in Kenty Hill. And I lived 200 yards from the Miners' Welfare Green. The green itself was like a billiard table, fantastic. And fortunate enough, although I didn't know it at the time, it was life or death, bowls at Kenty Hill. It was comprised of a group of people who had worked underground together, they'd played rugby together, and when they finished playing rugby, they played bowls together. And he carried in the same competitive spirit into bowls as they had done in their working life and in their pastime, you know.
So how old were you then when you started?
10.
Like 10.
10. And my dad wasn't a great player, but he was a great teacher. He just knew how to do it instinctively. You know, he was like a billiard player, my dad. Unfortunately, I lost him when I was 13. You know, my father passed away then. And the people at the bowls club then became your sort of surrogate parents almost, you know, and along with teachers in school who looked after me very, very brilliant. I've been very lucky with mentors and things like that all my life, really. So I won the pairs with my dad when I was 11, you know, in a good club.
Yeah.
You know, So the year after that, you know, Norman Harris and his father won the British Isles pairs. So that was the standard, you know. It was good. You know. It was a great club, and you guys play bowls in Midvale. If you look at the league tables, you see Kenty Hill had a period of domination there. It was fantastic. People were wonderful to me there.
Bowls were strong back then, weren't they?
Oh yeah. You know, if you didn't get down the green by like 4:30, you wouldn't get a game. You know, fantastic.
And if you were a 10-year-old, you probably got kicked off for somebody to get on, would you?
Well, in the school holidays.
Unless you were really good, probably.
In the school holidays, that's a good agreement. I used to go down and play with an old gent called Jack Thomas, who just tooted down on one knee, and he just rolled the ball like that. That's how fast the greens were. You know, and he used to play with me, and a lot of the people still in the Bridge End area will refer to Di Williams. You know, he was like a legend bowler, and you know, great times. So I look back affectionately at them.
Yeah. Your dad, obviously, a big influence when you started in the bowls. Yeah. And obviously, after you lost your dad.
Yeah.
Was there anybody you you gravitated to take over that role a little bit?
It'll be a big part of things. I mean, firstly, all I ever wanted to do at that age was I wanted to be a composer. I wanted to be I wanted to write film music. So my teachers in school, my music teachers, were fantastic with me, and they looked after me a lot. But in a bowls framework, I mean, I've taken advice from the very best, from David Bryant down. I've been very, very lucky, you know. Yeah. And in business as well, I've learned from the very, very best, you know. So I say I've been lucky, but I've probably been, the talent I have was to be a good listener and to listen to people and to be able to use a good filter for those people who gave good, solid advice. You know, the right people.
Yeah.
Pick a good person.
And it is about the right people giving the right
It
advice.
is, isn't it?
It is very much so.
It is.
Especially for the youngsters now, you've got to have the right person giving
Well,
the
I'm
right
sure we'll
advice.
talk about that later,
Yeah,
because
we will,
the way we influence our young people playing the game we love is very important to me.
Yeah.
And you, I know, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to say this. I've looked at your resume, and for a boy from Kenfig Hill, you're bloody intelligent, aren't you?
Well,
No, for people in Kenfig Hill are watching. I'm tongue in cheek that one, okay?
well, not that tongue in cheek, because I'm from the same village as Howard Marks.
I was going to come to that. I was going to come to that because youngsters won't know who Howard Marks is.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Howard, and if you look for a film called Mr. Nice, Howard came from the same village as me, and very, very charismatic guy, Richard Burton, like, and he became, he joined, he went to Oxford, one of the first to go to Oxford from the village. He joined MI6.
Yes.
And at one point, I think he had something like 20 odd aliases, and he infiltrated drugs cartels, but unfortunately turned a bit bad, and he became the biggest smuggler of cannabis but when he came out of jail, they eventually caught up with him. But when he came out of jail, he did the talk circuits because he was so
charismatic.
Yeah. Richard Burton, like.
Yeah. When you said it to me, I was laughing because you said to me I was in school with Mr. Nice, and I just didn't click for a while. Who Mr. Nice was, but
just had that charm, you know.
Yeah. So there was two of you clever ones in the Kenfig Hill, lad. There was a few more.
They were a lot cleverer than me in my year, I can assure you. Yeah.
Okay. So Kenfig Hill.
Yeah.
Where did sort of honours start coming for you in bowls then?
Well, first of all, I suppose our treasurer at the club was also treasurer for the county. And he was quite skilled at going, Mike, would you like to be treasurer of the club? Don't know how to do it. Well, so he taught me how to be treasurer. So I became treasurer of the club when I was 14.
Yeah. I don't think that would happen now, would it?
No.
Well, it'd be a bit of a stretch to get a 14-year-old treasurer these days.
And at 15, I remember I listened to John's podcast with you, and many have mentioned the Porthcawl tournament, haven't they? And I played there, and as a 15-year-old, I beat sort of Jim Morgan in the last 8 of the tournament, when Jim was a very established international then, and lost to Ray Hill in the semi-final. And in the same year, Kenfig Hill played Barry Athletic in the last 8 of the Corella Shield, and I happened to play against Gareth Humphreys and Len Webley. Yeah. And when you're talking about people who can advise you, those people, you know. Yeah. And so I got into the county team when I was sort of 16. Yeah. Won the first county title when I was 17. Went on to play for years and years in the county and things like that. And eventually in my 20s. Having listened to John and lots of other people saying, I had a Welsh trial, and they were all saying, well, don't expect to get in now, Mike. You'll have to be doing this for 3 or 4 years. Nobody gets in straight away. And I got in, and the first time I played, indoor and outdoor, and loved my time there. Played a number of series and test matches for Wales, abroad as well, and the whole game for me is about the relationships and the friendships you make in the sport. And I'll tell you some last of the summer wine stories later on. I bumped into some legends yesterday at Merthyr.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And I love all of that. Yeah. And we never lose a game. We never lose a game. 10 years after, 15 years after.
Just a little bit for the people listening. The air conditioning.
There is some background noise.
So there's a little bit of a buzz. But I'm not going to moan because it's quite warm in here now. So the air conditioning coming on is going to be a saviour for us.
So anyway, I went. So from there, I had a marvellous run indoor. I went to 6 World Championships, 4 in the singles, 2 in the pairs. European Championships, UKs and stuff like that. And when we get into the more controversial sides of bowls later, that's where some of the problems start.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because we had the audacity to try and form a professional association around that time, and that didn't go too well.
Yeah.
No,
Say.
no.
But
You talked about stuff with Wales, but you've obviously played in Middleton Cup for Leicestershire, Warwickshire, Nottinghamshire, Lincolnshire. Yeah. And the Senior National EIBA Championships.
English.
yeah, those who know me well know that whatever I do full on. You know, I'm exceptionally committed to whatever I do. When my bowls career was, not really going anywhere, I was lucky to have some great mentors in business that helped me a lot, and I turned to that and threw myself full time in at that. So it took me around the UK, but I also worked abroad quite a lot as well.
Yeah, I'm going to run through your academic qualifications because it did impress me. It did impress me.
Oh.
MSc
For
in
someone who has no academic qualifications.
in industrial sociology, BSc honours in psychology, Six Sigma black belt. What does that mean?
Whatever it means, I'll explain it.
Okay, business diploma at Goldratt Institute in Brussels, and a diploma in operation management at Warwick University, and also chartered engineer, member of the Institute of Directors at Royal Warrant Holder.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
it.
you're gonna have to go through some of these, boy. I can't even say them. Never mind know what they mean.
That's it. When I went to work, I worked first at Borg Warner, which is at Margam.
Yeah.
Was a big employer, and of course I went there at a time when the industrial scene was changing a lot from heavy industrial backgrounds like coal mining and steelworking, and the Wealth Development Agency were helping organizations come into the area, an American company, Borg Warner in my case, and technology companies, and so changing the landscape and giving a lot of regional aid for things like that.
Yeah.
So my mentor at the time, he lives out in America now, and Silicon Valley, brilliant guy.
Yeah.
He got me to do the same degree as him, and industrial sociology was about, industrial relations, HR, how the landscape was changing, how we dealt with it, and things like that, And so I just found it naturally very interesting.
Yeah.
Did that at Swansea University, and used those skills then to commute sector by sector across technology areas and automotive, aerospace, in the various businesses, and all those other things like Six Sigma black belt. It's a statistical way of demonstrating continual improvement in businesses. Things like so. It's just all training packages that people threw at me, and Goldratt wrote the best-selling business book of all time called The Goal.
Okay.
And to study with him in Brussels was an honour. You couldn't really go wrong. And that's, as I say, I've just been very lucky with those sorts of things.
Well, it's hard work. And the reason I wanted to go through that academic business qualifications is because after your bowls in the middle of your bowls career, you actually then become I've lost it, where was it? The director of Bowls Wales.
A director in Bowls Wales.
Director in Bowls Wales.
Best I explain that, because I think, you guys do a fantastic job, and I'm hoping that if we can do something today that can help create a forum for discussion and general improvement in the game that we love, we will have achieved something. And I thank you very much for doing what you're doing, and for giving people like myself a platform to speak, because there aren't really in bowls that many mechanics for people to express opinions about the sport they love. And what you see very often happening is that people go to Facebook because it's the only thing that they've got.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when you use Facebook it comes across as very sterile. The written word can look a bit more hostile than and you get these Mexican standoffs between somebody bringing up what I want to think is a well-intentioned critique, and then you get the inevitable, well, if you want to change something, pal, get on the committee.
A defensive.
And that does nothing for our sport at all. So I joined Bowls Wales to make a difference. And when they advertised for the job, and it's still on the websites now, it'll be like 2 or 3 days a month or 2 or 3 hours a week. And I said, excuse me, I don't do any of that. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to be full on, And I thought people might understand that, but I got on there, proposed lots of changes, and you're hitting your head against a brick wall, really. And is it anybody's fault? Well, Sport Wales was set up in 2017. I hope this will be a good bit of background for those.
No, it's great.
In 2017, Sport Wales was set up because Sport Wales, who were the principal funders of Bowls, were trying to work between, I think it was 8 different parties. So there was men's indoor, women's indoor, outdoor, both associations, para bowls, short mat, crown green, and umpires association. Okay, and it was unreasonable for Sport Wales to be orchestrating all of that, really. And but unfortunately, it was an organisation that was set up almost without portfolio and certainly no teeth. So they sat almost like a marriage guidance counsellor, trying to mediate between 8 parties that didn't particularly get on great. All that, you had all the opinions into all of those committees, and how are you going to get harmonisation? So the money came to Bowls Wales, who were the conduit for that money out to the organisations, and they were also set up to look at development of the game and things like that.
Is that still the way it is?
Yes.
So Bowls Wales will take the money from Sports Wales,
Yes.
and then they will pass it to Welsh Lawn Bowls, which is now the ladies and men amalgamated, and indoor bowls, men and women amalgamated indoors. I'm not sure, actually. I don't know.
Mike, the only reason amalgamation has come about is not because people wanted to amalgamate. The only reason it came about was because Sport Wales said they're only going to be dealing with single-sex organisations and things like that. It was pressure that brought it about.
Okay.
So
which is a shame, really, isn't it? We should have wanted to do that.
It's a shame, but we're not living in a world yet where all these people get on. And absolutely everybody don't like Bowls Wales because they've got the money. And they seem to have some paid people, which in our game is, they've got paid people. There's a high turnover of people through it, and they seem to be not bowling people. They're people from hockey, from other. And you'd like to think we could be diverse enough to encourage expertise from wherever we get our hands on it. But it isn't readily accepted in the sport. And the simple litmus test is, what has Bowls Wales achieved since 2017? Zero. Zero.
Okay. So go back to the start of that, Mike. What can people do you think, and it's only opinions, these are opinions, what can people do to generate that discussion to try and get change? Because people are, as you said, they're putting it on Facebook, they're frustrated, they put it on there, it comes over in a total different way when you're reading something or what somebody tells you, and I can associate with that, you put email, even to send an email, and it doesn't always reflect what you mean, because in person is always better. So what can we do, or Bowls Wales, what should they be doing to generate that discussion? Is it an extraordinary AGM or something like that, or we have a meet? What would you think would be the best way forward?
Well, with your help, we'll try and do it today.
Okay.
Because I would I think we need to start from a point where we are very respectful of all of those people who willingly give their time and volunteer in our sport at committee levels.
Well, it wouldn't be running
brilliant.
without them, would it? That's about
Absolutely fantastic, and I applaud all of them. So there's no critique intended on those people at all.
No.
But we have to look at the current state first of all. Yeah. And participation levels in the sport are down.
Yeah.
Club profitability down.
Yep.
National entries down for competitions. We haven't got major sponsors.
No.
World Bowls, if you've been looking at the recent stuff on TV, are looking to try and get a World Bowls circuit of events.
Yeah.
Why aren't we knocking on the front door
Well,
to have one in Wales?
They've added more now for this year, haven't they? They've added so many more events, and like you said, I'm surprised for a place that has now, I think we've got like 18 people on the world rankings, both men and women. Why are we not knocking on the door to host an event?
Exactly. And we don't have any open single circuit events here.
No.
I think and so what we've got to try and do is reverse all of that into what specific actions are we taking on all of those things.
I think, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think it sounds almost like we're afraid to take that plunge a little bit, in terms of not just saying yes and just cracking on with trying it out, because the reality is if you take a hit now, 5 years down the line and you don't do it again, you're not really seeing too much of a thing. But if you're not saying yes and you're missing out on all of that new things coming through Wales, and you are seeing the missing out of how popular, you look at the OSC now, the Open Circuit, obviously the Boys in Wrong Bias podcast, they've been streaming a lot of the Open Circuits and stuff. They've given the platform for the Open Circuit. Now I know we've had many people who in Wales now, not just us, but other people who've gone to events to stream and to get eyes on bowls.
Yes.
You've probably got enough people interested now that if you did have events like that in Wales, you'd have it streamed, or you'd have a majority of it streamed, or eyes on that game, and hopefully that, like I said, gives us some form of platform and strategy to move forward.
I think we've got to really strip it back to the start, don't we? That's the bottom line. We need to go right back and say, where are we going with this from the
spot on, Michael.
From the nucleus, from the top.
If we take this step by step, as you say, there are enough exemplars in our own game and in business where we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
No.
If you read through all of the 3 and 5 year bowl strategy for Australian bowls, it's a published document that has the mission statement, it has the objectives, it has the objectives that tell you how they are going to engage with sponsors, how they're going to develop young people, how they're going to improve their sport. Yeah. And behind that, they have accountability. They will tell you who or what group of people are responsible for driving that improvement and objective. And they have metrics, which they publish, that will tell you, are things getting better or not? And we haven't got any of that.
No.
So the first thing we need to do is to create a vision for our sport that we can translate into objectives that we've got to achieve. So how do we increase participation in the sport? And I've got loads of ideas, but I won't go through them. But you've got to have the vision, the objectives, how you're going to measure and monitor your success, and who's going to do it, and in what time scale. And I would argue, sorry, Mike.
No.
And I would argue that the people who are running the game at the moment, they're doing great. Please continue. Look after the values and the context of our sport. But we've got to look at a CEO who puts drive and energy into getting up every day and improving our sport, and liaising then with exemplar work groups who are focused on commercial improvement, relationships with sponsors. Unless we brand and market our sport,
Yeah.
You can't attract the sponsors.
For me, the big thing on that one is amalgamation.
Yes.
I've worked in a police organisation
Yes.
who, through the years, have amalgamised areas. They've made small areas, they pulled them together. They're talking now about putting one Welsh police force,
Yeah.
as in instead of having, 4.
Yeah.
Is it time that we become Welsh Bowls Association indoor-outdoor together?
Of course.
Yeah.
Been time for years.
Of course it is.
And the people who are there in both organisations, can stay in together. But you hit the head on nail the head again for me on this aspect with having things like financial specialists, people who are digital media trained, investment advisors. People who can sit down and I do think you're right. A CEO would drive all of that.
Yes.
Somebody in charge who's got a very clear aims and objectives of what they want to achieve.
Yes.
Yeah, and everybody works to the same
That's right.
aim and objective.
Yeah,
as
but
what's been
like you said, I think the reality is as soon as you put the first things first, you put that mission out, the objectives out, everyone knows the clear plan.
2 miles away from here, we've got Cardiff Met.
Yeah.
And in terms of media and broadcast, they've got a fantastic institution there. They want to train people as commentators, as producers, as lighting people, as camera. We need to be moving towards, in my opinion, 4 regional centres of excellence in Wales, where we've got cameras set up.
Yeah.
Like in my own club, we got cameras set up at Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're only a single bowls club.
Yeah.
We can do live streaming.
Yeah.
Without bringing your camera phone along,
Yeah.
And that way, for our young people, we can do video libraries for the young people. We can train our coaches. And
He's done all this at the club, see?
yeah,
Like
that's-
he's offered, countless times for video coaching, video feedbacks, all that kind of stuff. And I do think you're right. And unfortunately, me having a background in golf, and I'll bring golf up again. There's been a few podcasts, so I haven't brought it up, but I'll bring it up today. It sounds that Welsh Bowls has fallen into the same trap, and I call it your generic Welsh governing bodies of sports. Golf was the same way. You had the same people in charge. I mean, they've had the same head coach for 18 years with no results, and they don't want to change anything. Rugby union, same problem there. There's so many frustrations with the Welsh Rugby Union because nothing's being done. Everything's just comfortable. There's been no real big shake-up, if you will, of the sport in order to help improve areas that we need to improve in order to, maybe you take a couple of steps back to start with, but over time, you need those changes. You need those biggest differences to push the sport forward. We were speaking to a couple of guests this week, and they were like, Stuart Anderson come to play in Wales for a little while.
He did,
and he was shocked at how we run things. He's like, I haven't played this format in God knows how many years, because no other country in the UK does what we do. And I think there's a lot of frustration at the moment now where, like you said, participation is low. The game stayed the same. There's been no change in it. There's been no kind of push to change anything. And we've talked about it in small areas for some podcasts. But I think, you're right. I think now is the time to push forward for the betterness of the sport, because there's a big chance here for Welsh Bowls.
I think
with
there
sports blowing up.
There's so much talent
do
around
so
us,
much.
and we don't use it.
I've got youth development and bowls as part of things we've discussed in the past as part of what we're going to talk about. But I still go back to how do we instigate that change? It's okay, we'll put this podcast out, we'll get 200, 300 views on the podcast, but that itself's not going to change it, is it?
Well, I want the people who are listening to this to help try and politely create the pressure.
Yeah,
You know, I would invite. I've mentioned to you. I would invite on Mal Evans.
Yeah.
No, Mal Evans is the head coach of the England setup. He's a Kidwelly lad.
Yeah.
Who I know very well.
Mad.
You know, and so he leads coaching structures, and you know, and I've seen him training some of the England team, and his technical training, his behavioural training, his tactical training. It's you know, and when you see, you know, it was lovely last. We were up in Scotland together. Lovely seeing the kids up there, but we're undercooked.
Yeah,
Frankly,
actually, one of the young ladies from England, she friended on Facebook.
Yes.
And one of her comments was a thanks to people who had helped her along the way.
Yes.
And one of them was actually Mal.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see he's involved in that under-18 setup. You know, we got some good people. You know, it's for me, it's got to come back to that, putting pressure, and not in a negative way, in a positive way for change.
Yes.
Yeah?
I think we've got coaches who are good at getting people to start the game.
Yes.
But I don't think we've got a coaching setup that can transition people into international play.
I do agree with you.
And you know, that's the difference.
Yeah, and you know what, we recently met, and we only this year we've met
that's
really, and we've been to under 25s, under 18s trials. We've had long chats at both of those, and there is some great talent out there, you know.
Yeah,
young Welsh talent are doing, but you know, I suppose off the tip of the tongue, you talk about young Elijah, and we talk about Elijah a lot on our podcast. You know, he's just gone through an indoor trials, bronze medal.
Yeah.
If you go back, outdoor, indoor, I think he's got 4 on the trot of gold medals.
Top lad. Yeah.
You know, and he played some other great little players, little Louis from England, and part of that we're going to do some rising star segments. So we're going to go and have a podcast interview with all of them youngsters to try and raise the profile, not only in Wales but it's across the UK. You know, we got the Commonwealth Games coming up. You know.
But with those youngsters, you talk about, you know, participation level. These youngsters who play bowls are probably getting talked at in schools and stuff because bowls still isn't popular, you know. But if you expose them to something like this and give them a platform to talk about it and show what the sport can do, you know, in itself, just by we're not doing it to do that. We're doing it because we want to showcase how amazing these kids are. You're actually inadvertently doing what we were hoping to do in the first place.
There's always a good reason for success, isn't there? Or there's a good reason for failure, if you want to look at it negatively. But you know, Elijah has got great, fantastic family around him.
Yeah, good support mechanism.
They keep his and a big family around him. You know, you know, Gramps and all of them. They've all been brilliant with him, and his head is very much in the right place. But I hear people, you know. People, is he all that? You know, you hear it around. It's in bowls, don't you? You know, I suppose that's something we've got to put up. But actually, he is all that. He is a great talent. But where I always look is where the great old bowlers like Gareth Humphries and Russell Evans and all those, and Len, my mate Len, told me to look, and you look on a mat. Yeah. And I describe his delivery like he's rolling a tennis ball down an elephant's nose. You know, it's proper, like a shoot when you're testing in the bowl. It's proper alignment, everything going like an arrow down the line, no transitions left or right. You know, so when you see players on the mat going in and out, you know, I can't play bowl anymore. I'm rubbish, but I know what a good bowler is. You know, and so when you get people, you know, left and right and not, you know, and their alignment is wrong. We need the right type of people to just be suggesting occasionally to those people. You know, have you thought about this? Or have a look at this video. Do you think
and even at the top level, they you know, we talk about golf. Tiger Woods as a coach, he was probably one of the best for years.
He's one of the greatest sportsmen ever, and he had coaching every week.
Basketball, you have coaches. The top basketball players, they all have coaches. You know, whatever sport you.
Well, you've got people earning millions of pounds a month, if you will, that have coaches that tell them how to do things better. And these people are earning millions just for doing what they do. I know Bowles doesn't have that much, but you talk about people like even Amy and Ross. I would expect if you've got a coach at that level, even Amy and Ross would probably be. Yeah. They're the type of people who will probably want to keep improving, and they will have that opportunity if we had it.
And the names keep coming up, don't they? Financially, staff. Yeah. Nikki. Yeah. People. The talent is there. Yeah. If we can homogenize that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you say about we talked about Elijah, and Nikki was podcasting the other day. Yeah. And I think his comment about your son was, look at that delivery, as smooth as milk on it, So, we got how many kids out there? I'd say the under 25s, they're not kids, they're Legion and Jets out there.
In Bowls, they kind of are, yeah.
Yeah, 32, 36, 40 kids out there. And you look at some of them deliveries, and they're like, well, I couldn't, my delivery is more agricultural.
And mine now, sadly,
rather than smooth and technique. But it's about improving all the time. We got lots of good kids. Young Ollie Price again.
Yeah, great player.
Big 15, just got to the Welsh under 25s final.
Yeah, brilliant kid as well.
Yeah, and we
again, family, great.
Yeah. We were away last week with the under 18s, 2 weeks ago. It was small margins, wasn't it? If them tie breaks had gone our way, we could have been second, maybe even top.
Yeah.
I think
I bumped into a legend at Merthyr yesterday who I hadn't seen for almost 20 years. Guy I used to play for Wales with, a fantastic player called Mark Anstey. And I heard John Price and a number of people admit, what a class player, But when we're talking Bowls, the first praise he gives is to his dad and the old mentors around him who put him on the right path, Mm-hmm. And we've got that talent, and we've got to find ways of imparting it into our young players. Yeah. But we got Zoom calls around us now. We got video around us now. Yeah. We can teach, but we've got to create the environment, like in golf, where the best player in the world isn't afraid to have somebody else say, have you thought about doing this?
Yeah. Well, that's development, isn't it?
Well, and that's the thing with Bowls is, you're never perfect in Bowls.
Yeah, that's right.
You're never perfect in golf. You're never perfect in a lot of sports. Yeah. And that's why I think so many of these high prolific sports have coaches, is because the reality is if you make that small, that tiny mistake, whether it be one bowl in late in the end or even the last bowl, you make a small mistake, could be the margin between win and loss, and they're the teachable moments. I think they're the ones that you kind of got to then go, this is what you did, this is what happened, sit down, have that discussion about it, and then give people the chance to give that, repeat that process over and over. And I think that's also something we're missing is, we talk about it a lot of the time and talk about small margins and stuff, but I don't think we've got enough competition in terms of pressure competition for a lot of these players.
That framework is just one of the objectives that we need to look at.
Because you talk about it like Elijah, right? Elijah, again, top quality bowler, one of the best, if not we'd argue best under 18 in the UK over the last several years. But where's his pressure practice coming from? Where his I'm 2 down in head, I've got a bowl to win the game, I got the last bowl. Yes, he's probably been in that situation before, but if you've been in that situation 1,000 times compared to 100, it becomes more second nature rather than just.
And for him, he's a big bowl player. He can do it. He can do it. We've seen him do it. But your point is well taken. And the other lads, less so. They see less of that competition. And so we need all of that. But to get back to your original question, how do we move this forward? Mm-hmm. I honestly don't think, first of all, who are you going to write to propose it?
That's right. That's what I'm getting to.
So if you wrote a nice letter to Bowls Way and said, look, I got all these great ideas. Don't forget, 2 or 3 years ago, they paid 10 to 15 grand for a consultancy to come and interview everybody about how to improve the game. They interviewed me, and many.
They could have given that to me because I'd have done that for them.
So have they? Have you seen it?
No,
I haven't seen it.
No, I haven't.
Anything changed?
No.
Right, so waste of money then, isn't
Yeah.
it? So what's the point in writing a Bowls Wales? Which one of the associations or the
Yeah.
unification, who do you write to say, well, I've got some ideas, and are you likely to get an answer that says, get on the committee then?
Yeah.
So unless we create, as people who love our sport and love talking, unless we take it out of talking shop into physical activity, I see the only way that that's going to improve is, why don't we invite the key parties? Why don't we invite somebody from Bowls Wales
Yeah.
into a forum with a couple of people from the NGBs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a couple of people like John Price, people,
Yeah.
why don't we get a forum together and say, and for example, if I were to propose that, if we're going to change anything, we got to know what we want to change, what we want to transition to,
Yeah.
and how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
So is it right to have a structure that has a top tier, but then a number of exemplar working groups that have the absolute authority and budget to action the improvements?
Yeah.
So I think that's what we need to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And when we've got that together, I mentioned earlier about 4 geographic centres of excellence, for example, for Sport Wales. I'm pretty confident would back that. If they saw a plan coming forward, they'd back that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
But more importantly, to be honest, I think we've got a bit of a cheek asking for public money all the time to support our sport. There are sponsors out there that would support a plan that can take our wonderful game forward.
Yeah.
So what I was talking about yesterday, about, this is a sport where grandkids can play with granddad.
Yeah.
Yeah? It's physical and mental well-being for a whole lifetime.
Yeah.
It's friendships that are formed. It's local community sport. We got all of those great ethical things behind us that if we were to brand it properly, we can reach out to sponsors.
Yeah.
The problem is, I don't get the feeling that anybody knows how to do it.
And I think you're right in saying we need those individuals who've got experience in dealing with whatever area subject matter we're talking about.
I mean, if there is a plan, please excuse me, but I'm pretty in touch with things. I've not seen any plan.
No.
Yeah.
I've not seen any strategy.
I mean, the way that most people are talking about obviously changing and wanting change for our sport, I don't see there being one.
No, and I want to stay at this level. I don't want to break down into because I think this is really, really important. So, is that something? Who's going to do that? We need to make change. I think
that's the reality.
Is it something
anyone can do it? It's got to be invited to be done, I think. And as soon as you invite someone to actually make that plan, I think that's what this discussion hopefully will get someone to say, you know what, we need that plan. Let's start doing one.
Well, there's plenty. And I could write you a bloody strategy.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's anyone in the sport that could probably do it.
But we need somebody that can throw to create something everybody else could throw eggs at.
Yeah.
And talk constructively about.
Yeah.
And it's got to be, why wouldn't we do this
Yeah.
rather than 100 reasons why we can't?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is going to need a CEO with a driven authority to get up every morning and change it positively.
Okay then. What about this then? What if I say to everybody out there, the people that we're talking about? So we're talking about Welsh lawn bowls, Welsh indoor bowls,
Sports.
Bowls Wales,
Bowls Wales.
yeah, representatives from each counties. Who else would need to come to that table, Mike?
Well, and everyone under the Bowls Wales.
Okay, under Bowls Wales.
Realistically.
So what I would do is let's come together, let's have a discussion, and what we'll do is we'll live stream the discussion.
That's what I was going to say.
So we live stream the discussion so people can come in, they can watch what's discussed, see what's happening, see what's proposed. I'd probably invite you to come along and co-host and thing with us, and we sort of manage that because of your background experience.
I won't be able to be there. I don't do conflict. I can't do. I'll watch, but I don't think I can.
But it's
be a
not.
part
It's
of
not.
it.
And you hit the key word there. It's not about conflict. Please, Bowls Wales, Welsh Lawn Bowls, Indoor Bowls. It's not knocking individuals whatsoever. This isn't about this.
It's about the love of our game.
I think you're doing a great job, and
Yeah.
and to be fair, we've had lots of support as a podcast.
Well, without them, we wouldn't probably still have our sport.
Yes,
that's
right.
reality
So
number one.
this isn't knocking any individuals. This is about saying, is it time to move our game forward?
It's the structure of what's happening rather than the people in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's where's that overall meaning for what they are, that the organisation itself is trying to do.
Can I ask you a favour then, Mike? Will you sit with me another time?
Yeah.
And can we work out a list of who we need to invite?
Yeah, sure. Of course,
And we will invite all of those people to come to a location.
Yeah.
And I would like to live stream it because I think that's important that people can come in and view it and see what's being discussed.
Yeah.
Or, if the people who want to come together don't want that to happen,
Yeah.
we'll come together, have the discussion, and maybe we'll put something out after it,
Well, let me put you on the spot, Mike.
Go on in.
Do you know any player in our sport that wouldn't want to do what we've suggested? Because I don't know one.
No, I don't.
Right.
No.
Okay.
No.
So the only people who wouldn't want to do it are the people who want absolute status quo. Yeah?
Yeah.
And we mentioned earlier on about, I've got an experience with my mate John Price.
Yeah.
Where in 1991, we were invited to start the Professional Bowls Association because they wanted to start a circuit for bowls following the snooker.
Yeah.
And I was secretary, John was our chairman, and we had some fantastic people on our committee. And I wrote to Welsh Bowls, and John and I were invited to an informal meeting at Merthyr Tydfil Magistrates Court. And when we got there, it was like Mastermind with 2 black seats and floodlights coming down at us. And there must, John will confirm, there must have been 30 to 40 people there for this informal meeting.
Right.
Blazers, chains, ties. And we weren't allowed to speak. There was a predetermined statement from all the associations that threatened us with banning us completely from the sport. We wouldn't be allowed to any of us or the committee would be prevented from playing any structured form of bowls at all. Okay?
Yeah.
And we took it back to the committee, and there was a difference of opinion in our committee. I won't talk, but somebody like Terry Sullivan, for example,
Yeah.
who was on our was a brilliant player at that time, but coming towards the end of his career,
Yeah.
and let's do it anyway. But there were a lot of players there, and in that time, I suppose we were all earning good money.
Yeah.
In the sport, there were a lot of tournaments around at the time,
Yeah.
and so that there's probably only myself and Terry that felt that we could, push through on this,
Yeah.
But I can so it didn't go anywhere. But I know that there are sponsors out there, big sponsors. There's the betting trade, love bowls.
Yeah.
Because it's short interval betting.
Yeah.
They love it. So if we could create a plan, and we're open to having sponsors from
Yeah,
betting, things
yeah.
like that, which we're not at the moment.
No,
And that's not a guess, which
No.
we're not at the moment, because I've tried that one.
Yeah.
And if we were to do that, we would attract sponsors. I don't like the idea of bowls taking public money from Sport Wales on the back of no plan, no business plan. It's like, how do you go to the bank and borrow money off them without a business plan?
Yeah.
So I think that's wrong, and I'm not trying to condemn my own sport in that.
No,
We need the money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But there's something wrong.
Yeah. We can generate a lot of money ourselves.
You know,
Yes.
And that's the benefit to players then coming back. And you asked me a question about players. Is there a player who don't want to change? And it's very difficult for our players and our top players to really speak out and say anything, because
they
they
can't.
don't. They can't. They
That's always been the case, Mike. That's the trouble.
yeah.
Yeah.
They can't. And,
that's
and
why I'm doing it.
and
Yeah.
we've got a lot of players out there. I honestly believe, because I've spoke to some of them,
Yes.
that won't change, but just will not.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
say
because
anything.
that's
And I understand that. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right. They I would have hoped when I was playing top level bowls that by now people would be making a living in the sport. And when I've promoted that idea, those people who profess to be looking after the grassroots say I'm elitist. You hear that word all the time, elitist. But I look at the sporting world in general, and I know that the shop window of our sport has to be exciting enough
Yeah.
to generate interest from young people to want to play the game.
Yeah.
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 And I don't want to I don't want to see a game on TV with sleepy dogs and people doing their knitting and going off to do the bingo. I want to see a BPL. I want to see a BPL format.
Yeah.
Yeah. With kids bust in to the audience,
Yeah.
and we give them a little go on targets in between.
Yeah.
We got to freshen up the whole. Where's the bloody energy?
Yeah,
You know, we're sport to change something, you know?
And we've talked about it loads of times. I know Matthew's a huge lover of the BPL, and
I love
just
the BPL should be and it generally should be the aim for every single country to be able to host something so good that is literally 5 days long.
You could have
But
had
everybody waits months.
it's confident, but you could have had that this year at this club.
Yeah.
With 32 live transmissions, you could have had it.
Yeah.
But I won't say anymore.
No.
But you could have.
And you know, you talked about the four regional, and I like that idea.
Yeah.
I've done it previously when I coached junior golf.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't
golf-
coach when I managed junior golf.
Well, golf's only just started. They have now regional excellences. So the main squad now has regional excellent, what they call regional squads, which is
Yeah.
the excellence of area then.
But if we had them regions, because one interesting thing, you started the under 35s.
Proudest thing I've done in the game. Yeah.
That is now gone. And for me, I think that's a big shame, if I'm honest with you, because, we talk about under 25s, and that's great. Under 18s is great. Matthew started at 26.
Yeah.
So he's a late starter, and there could be lots of them people out there, and we lose them. We don't know how good they are.
Well, don't you think, Mike, that although we have to try and do things with schools, I think our principal target audience for attracting people to our game is from other sports.
Yeah.
And I think the engagement with rugby clubs, football, hockey, what cricket, whatever it is, we want to find ways of getting those people engaged in our sport so that when they get a little bit too old to be competitive, it's a natural competitive outlet for them.
Yeah.
And we again, we need the plan to make that happen.
Yeah,
Well, you look at and I keep using golf as an example because I lived there for 22 years, but golf was the same. When I was 12, 13 years old, I was the only person in my school in Bryntegg, apart from another teacher that played golf.
Well,
And it was just
who wasn't in jail, sorry.
No, there was 1,200 pupils and staff there, or 1,100, whatever it was, and 2 people played golf. And now, last year, they held a school golf championship because they had 20 odd people playing in it in just 1 year, and they take them out, and I'm like, where the hell did that come from? And that's kind of what we need bowls to do is all of these rugby football players that have either got injured or have stopped enjoying it so much that maybe they can't do the physicality anymore. Bowls is perfect for that.
But that's what you said earlier on. You have your CEO.
Yeah.
You have your working committee groups.
Yeah.
One of them groups is about attracting membership for clubs, and part of that strategy is what you just talked about, identifying football players, rugby players, cricket players coming to their end who
Yeah.
can build their membership. Because there's membership up for clubs.
Yeah.
You know, how many clubs are going to go this year?
Yeah.
You know, I don't even want to think about it, because every club that goes is a less of an opportunity for a youngster to come through and start the game.
Exactly.
You know, so that for me, that, you know, we're talking lots of things today, of different strands, of different aims, objectives for different things, you know.
We look at the momentum at junior level. Look at the momentum they've gained at Merthyr West End.
Yeah.
And it just snowballs, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Young people attract other young people. In Merthyr yesterday, people were telling me years ago about Phil Carpenter. When he started, everybody knew Phil Carpenter, and you know, and a lot of youngsters started because of Phil Carpenter.
Yeah.
What Merthyr do really well is they do interest. They make a reason for people. They do a pro-am day.
Yeah.
A pro-am day, they take a pro and an amateur, and they play together in whatever format they do.
Yeah.
And they said, I was speaking to, I can't remember who it was, but they were saying that's their biggest income of new members is their pro-am day.
Yes.
Not even like the kids or the academy or stuff like that. Yes, they've got a growing academy, but they said pro-am day for them. They do it once a year, and it's the biggest influx of, you know, when you're talking that area, you're talking those 30-year-olds who've, you know, people like me who are friends with other 30-year-olds who have think, you know, they don't know what to do anymore. They're just not really doing much. You're like, well, we got a pro-am day, let's go play, like, and doing it stuff like that. But you know, you're speaking of rugby and football and all this. I was funny enough you mentioned it, because I was on Facebook this morning, and it was either last night or this morning. England, they put out a picture of people playing bowls in England, and they had the England rugby team on there. They had high-ranking people in businesses on there, and they had other sports people, like the cricket team were doing it. Yeah. You know, and can you imagine Bowls Wales going, oh, we're going to put together a charity event for bowls, and we're going to invite rugby, we're going to invite football, we're going to invite swimming, or whatever it may be. Yeah. A couple of people come and have a game of bowls, and we say, you know, we always obviously mention Ross, because, you know, Ross would be in world number 3 at the moment, or 4, I think he is, 3 or 4. You know, having a day where they spend, you know, and people can come watch or have a go, like you said, do engagement stuff.
At your BPL event,
they do the home.
You'd have Glamorgan Cricket playing Cardiff Rugby, playing, you know, you'd invite them along as guests, so that in your intervals, you know, you'd see these stars on the green playing, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and you also have, like you said, they pick someone from the crowd to come up, and they do a right of home thing. They put a big square mat out to right at home, or big circle, and they got to try and draw into the circle to win a prize, or I think something from the sponsor they have, you know. But
so how do we get the energy behind all of this?
And the reality is I know I've said it in the past, I would love to be sponsoring events. I talked about it with one of the members from our outdoor club, Sean Taylor, and we talked about it for hours, about doing like almost like a Premier League darts style bowls competition. Yeah. Where over 7 or 8 weeks you do a whatever 7 end 2 sets shootout bracket style for points over a long period on different clubs, you know, like they do in the darts, and go from there. But like you said, to do that you need backing. We don't have the money to sponsor any of that.
But it's not only about the money for me.
You would get the money.
You
could
if we marketed and branded.
And if you planned it well,
and if we do all the other bits as well, then we.
Oh yeah, you've got to
be able to put it on social media. We've got to put it on some sort of platform where you can view that as well. Yes. So all the things we've talked about, and you mentioned before,
work.
It is going to be hard work.
Yeah.
It's not
going to take a lot of hard work and people behind the scenes.
And the question is, do we want it enough in Wales? Do we want it enough? Do everybody want it?
I don't even think you need it in, but it's more than just Wales. You look at the people, how many people watch Potters? It's in England. How many people watch the BPL? It's in Australia. How many people watch the OSCs? The OSCs are getting 1,200 people from all over the world.
But it should be, you know, we say we're on YouTube as a little podcast, yeah? Welsh Bowls should have their own YouTube channel. They should be doing this, They should be running these and building the subscriptions. And if finance comes from that subscription,
I don't even think you need the subscription. I think the finance the sponsors would be there if you go out and get them.
I want to say, Mike, that yes, people want it enough. That was a major question you asked there of the listeners. And what I'm going to do I want to do everything I can to network this podcast to as many players as I can find, not just in Wales, everywhere. And I've got a big network.
Yeah, I know that.
And I want them to all come back and like it and to comment and to create an environment where it's very clear to us and clear that there is a change required, and we do want it. You're close enough to it, Mike, to see how much these youngsters out here, how much they put into the game, the parents taking them around.
Massive.
Don't tell me there's not a passion and love for our sport that's as strong as it ever was.
Yeah.
People from my age like to say, "Oh, and it's not like it used to be, Mike." Is it?
No,
but,
you're right.
But I tell you what, these guys want it.
Yeah.
These guys want it, and it's our job.
And there's lots not here today.
Yeah.
Who want it as well.
Well, I want to give
right.
a quick
That's
shout
right.
out to there's a young boy that just started with us, 15 years old, named Caden. I've never met someone so dedicated to being at the top of the level than that at the moment.
Great
you know,
stuff.
he's practicing Monday. He's playing on. He's asked to play more often. He's trying to play on a Thursday,
It's lovely, isn't it?
Friday. He plays on tries to put his name down. Only just started, puts his
Yeah.
name down for Saturday, and then coaching on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, and he's there with his father practicing. He'll go 4 or 5 times a week almost.
Yeah.
Some
yeah.
weeks, you know, even after school, and he's got exams and things, and he's the,
Yeah.
and all he can think about, and all he
right.
wants to
And
do
your
is
boys
bowl.
are your boys are in exactly the same
Yeah.
boat, aren't they? You know.
Yeah. You know, we travel.
And there's loads of them out there.
All of them.
I
All of them do it.
I think I'm going to say all the bowlers who are in there, been bowling for years and years and years, we owe it to our youngsters
We do.
to keep our sport going. We love our sport.
Good way of putting it,
Yeah.
Mike. Yeah. Yeah.
We love our sport, and we owe it to our young bowlers to try and develop change
Yes.
for the benefit of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, we've gone on and said it's not about individuals. It's not slagging anybody off.
That's right.
It's for the future and for our youngsters.
Yes.
Because if we don't, when are we gonna next get a Ross Owen, an Amy Williams, and you know, there's others in.
Yeah.
There are so many gone past bowlers.
Yeah.
I'm new into bowlers. You
Yeah,
could
yeah,
you could probably
yeah.
reel off in their
Yeah.
sort of 40s, 50s, loads of bowlers who have
Yeah.
been class bowlers.
Yes.
Let's keep it going for them youngsters.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, Mike.
So we got a little plan that way. So I think we'll stop on that one. We know there's a couple of other things.
Right, can I just do one
Yeah,
shout
yeah,
out?
please do, yeah.
Because we talk about the youngsters, but
Yeah.
there's a few people who are legends of our sport who've been around a long, and they're not in the best of health at the moment.
Yeah.
And I've been, I've been to see a few of them recently, and so just from us to you, get well, guys. There's Big Len Webley, who I went to see last week. He's just brilliant, and we want him to get him. And there's Steve Reese, who's not in great health at the moment. Brian Kingdon. And there will be many, I'm sure. But for all they've given to the sport, and all the great memories they've given me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's
And I can tell by the look in the face, they are fond memories. You could, they're running in your head now as you're talking about them.
Oh, Brian, we still saying how he beat me in a bloody.
Yeah, and that's great. Yeah, so get well, and what have you. We got loads of other things to talk about. It's just that I want to start something that I can finish in this podcast, because if we start, we could be another hour.
Give it a go. I don't know whether we'll be successful.
We could talk for hours and hours on this.
I think we've done enough, like you said, and I think that the whole goal for this is to start that conversation, to give us a reason to start moving the sport forward. And I think we've definitely covered enough and what the plans are. Reality is we don't know who is going to be the front runner for all that until we get everyone together and have that discussion. I think there's a clear plan for a marketing plan to hopefully get more finances into the game. That's going to help. There's a clear plan to get a mission and an objective for a 10-year or 5 or 10-year improvement to the game.
What you did a good thing. a review of our calendar and competition frameworks and things like that, you
Yeah,
know, to get
yeah.
all that.
Well, the
Yeah.
calendar's on our website. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we've set up a www.bowlsbreakdownpodcast.com.
I think is it
Bowlsbreakdownpodcast.
is it podcast?
Yeah, .com. And it's on our Facebook. On the
Yeah.
top, you see a little blue hyperlink. Click on it. It goes onto there. You know, we've got a full
We've had
calendar.
we've had loads of people sending in their open days and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
And I'm
for
putting
us,
short
and-
mat on there as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if we before the season start, if you in the end of March and there's a short mat, go give it a go. But
You know, I think that's the whole point of
Simpler
Again.
things. Wouldn't it be great if our data in the game is horrible? We haven't got anything.
no, I
You
know.
Wouldn't it be great if we had like a standard data collection thing from all clubs?
Yeah.
We want to know the age demographics of the club.
Yeah.
How many young, how many under 18s?
Yeah.
You know, how
Yeah.
many people enter national competitions? We want to collect all that. I'm sure clubs would give the information freely.
it's probably not.
If you've got a
not the most
database to give
difficult
them and they
Yeah.
just got to populate it, then that's fine, isn't it?
a standard financial template for all the clubs to do. So not only can we enter all the data in a standard way, we can migrate it into reports and things like that.
Yeah, we
you
got to
know.
we got to modernise a bit as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
other thing, you know, and I think there's a small start to it with the change of clothing and that kind of thing to encourage a more modernised version of bowls. But I think we still got a long way to go, you know. And in terms of
Well, here's another question for the listeners then. Well, do you want green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red? Or do you want personalities, like in darts? Do you want individual shirts? Do you want individual coloured bowls?
Yeah.
That you associate the player with the bowls, with the name,
Walk-on
with
music.
the walk-on music.
Yeah.
well,
You
the
know?
walk-on music, you know, you talk about the BBC with the walk-on music. They probably got enough money to hire rights for a few more than just 5 copyright songs. You know, like
Yeah.
you can probably get each individual player. How many people play in Porters? 40 odd.
Yeah.
You know, say we can
Yeah.
say walk-on music starts in personalised walk-on music starts from
Yeah.
the quarterfinals onwards. For
Yeah.
argument's sake, just to
Yeah.
know bring it in. But then every quarterfinalist says, "Well, this is the song I would like
Yeah.
for however long I play for."
Yeah.
They could probably get those rights, no
Yeah.
problem. You know, you think about it like
Yeah,
it's like
as a business plan, isn't it?
You
It's
know.
part of the business plan.
Yeah, it's all in there.
Yeah, it's all in there.
you know, and if you get copyrighted because your song gets played in the bowls thing, it's like, well, okay, right.
Well, I'm going to check another one here because
Yeah, go on.
I had a thought last night. I've been watching some stuff on Potters and during the game, and there's no energy in my mind. Yeah.
Energy, they're all bloody half asleep.
However, what I will say is, they have tried to do some energy raising stuff with the crowd prior to any matches.
Yeah.
I know it might be, but it's a start, Mike.
Yes, I
It's,
agree.
it's a start. It's
agree.
better than
Yeah.
nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
My argument with that is you shouldn't have to be doing that to get the energy going. The energy should already be in the room.
I think that comes down then to the players and players saying, we want music, we don't want music, this is the music we want or we don't. And if players are saying we don't want music, then we got to respect that. Or do we play music in between shots?
Well,
So when you turn the music down when they're on the mat, as soon as they step on the mat, music goes down, they bowl, music goes up. I don't know, you know. It's
But you look at the names in say in Porters. right?
BPL, they've been there, done it.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what I was
that's
about to
what I
bring
was
up. You
gonna
know,
It works, man.
you've got probably 7 or 8 big names that were in Porters that played BPL, where there is loads of noise, music playing all the
Yeah.
time, people walking about all the time.
Yeah.
You're on a TV rink, you're swapping rinks, you're playing, you know, your full day of bowls. They'd used to it by now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they are.
they're the ones
you
that want
notice
it.
noise more when it's very quiet.
You
Yeah.
do, yeah.
You don't,
Yeah.
you know, big noise is fine.
Yeah. And the other thing I was, it's gone from my head. I was
course
going to
it
say
has.
something and it just went from my head. You'll have
Course
to
it
say. You'll have to say something, Mike, because I'm lost for a minute.
Well, you did mention the under 35s Dragons.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and of course, you know, Len Webley and I started that, but it was a time when they weren't in computers.
Yeah.
No.
And we wanted to get like international events together, unofficial,
Mm-hmm.
just by getting the best young players we could
Yeah.
into a team.
Yeah.
And so it was by phone.
I'll thank you, Mike, because I played for Pembrokeshire under the 35s.
Yeah.
So
So
it was a.
So it was by phone. We got the county associations involved. Carmarthen particularly were brilliant, you know, and that was all by phone and getting people. You know, there was no expenses. There was no, everybody paid to get their own stay there.
Yeah.
We played all over the place, and again, those friendships are still there now.
You know, and that's the same now. How many Welsh people were up in Scotland the other week for people paying their own way to go?
That's
Parents,
right.
parents taking the kids flew up. Parents and family. You know, I didn't even have a child.
You didn't even have a child there. You just went up to watch.
Me and my wife went up just to support somebody from the
for
club.
those of you that are watching, we do have a very close friend of the family, Adam, who played. Just so we're not like thinking that they went up just to go watch a bunch of 18-year-olds. Just to clear that up.
But I just love the whole thing with the kids. You know, it's the future, and you see in their faces, and you see the disappointment, and you feel for them through the disappointment from any country. But when they win, and you see their smiling faces, it just gives you all energy, doesn't it? You know,
it does.
And you know, some of them games, I think we talked about them with another podcast.
Tie breaks were the wrong way.
Tie breaks.
Like,
Well, you know, the
Billy
Scotland
had 3 losses in tie breaks.
Yeah, Scotland won the triples and the fours, both on a tie break. And how good were they?
Actually, I thought England were the best side, but Scotland, fair play for them. They played the big games. Didn't
they did. Yeah, so you know,
and we all know how good Scotland is at balls. And I think they, you know, you look at who's running that under-18s team from Scotland.
Oh yeah,
is Julie Forrest. Yeah. Now Julie Forrest is one of the most, if not the most decorated woman indoor bowler you can have in the whole of the sport, and she's there on every shot, helping out when she needs to, coaching and training. Like you said, these high quality players who know how to play bowls is given her time to the future of the sport that she paved for us anyway. You know,
Wales are good.
Amy does great with us.
And
that's the best thing we've done, I think, for under-18s is bring Amy in.
Fantastic.
And Roger's in the top 100 running players in the world. So
yes.
you know, we can't argue with the under-18s. And it's nice to see the youngsters now having the confidence. I've seen it this year more than last year. They go to the coaches and say, "I need some advice. I want some advice on this shot," rather than the coaches having to say, "Come over here, let me tell you what I think." You know, they look in and saying, "I'm not sure what to do here. Go and get some advice," and that's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, I think what we're talking about more is about the preparation of those players for what they're going to come up against there. You know, and how they deal with that situation. You know, and you know, you mentioned my Evan, for example. You know, delivery like milk. I think he said,
it was.
Well, you'll be the first to tell you, overpowering that that you know, good game, not so good. You know, and you can see that there's enough non-repeatability in that delivery to cause the variations where his game drops off. And I think that's where we could do it. You know, like Amy would see that, and other people would see. There are people in our game that want to reach out. You know, you can't tell people how to play because kids won't have that, will they? But people who can say, just consider, a shorter step or whatever, you know.
And look, we could go on. This pod could go on for hours and hours. We could sit here for a long time talking because it's brilliant to talk to you, Mike. All the knowledge, experience you've had. I know you might have spoken to Mal on our behalf, and hopefully he's considering coming on the podcast. And maybe we'll invite you on as a guest interviewer for that. Because if we do go down that coaching, I think we'd leave that when Mal comes on. I don't want to lose what we've done in an hour now going on to something different.
I agree, actually,
let's just recap what we're thinking. We're thinking that as a Bowls Breakdown podcast, I'll email saying we've had this discussion on the podcast, inviting people to a meeting. What that might look like, we'll decide down the line if it's a private meeting or whether we open it up. We'll decide that, I suppose, at another stage. What's the best for development, and open discussion. Because if it was live streamed, are we going to create open discussion or are we going to close down open discussion?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why-
No.
Why would we be frightened of open discussion?
Well, exactly. I'm not frightened of open
here's
discussion.
here's my evidence.
Yeah.
Because I've been on enough Zoom calls
Yeah.
to see some of the behaviour.
Yep.
And I can tell you that if it was done live,
Yep.
people wouldn't behave like that. They behave like that because they know it won't be shown to anybody else,
Okay.
and you can't do it. The behaviour has to be respectful,
Yeah.
and the behaviour
Okay.
has to be conducive to developing ideas
Okay.
and things, isn't it?
So
Yeah.
we're going down the line.
So in my opinion, let's first of all see what reaction we get from people
Okay.
who are listening to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you think we're talking some sense, then give it a like,
Yeah.
give us some comment, and say thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
And then we can start the process of reaching out with engagement to others to see if they think it would be a good idea.
Yeah.
But I think it would be fantastic if the whole of our sport could look in on interested people who love our sport talking about where to go next.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
I
absolutely.
totally
Why
agree.
wouldn't anybody want that?
I totally agree with you, Mike. I'm just having a quick look when this is likely to go out to give. This is going to go out around about the beginning of March. Okay, unless we
Oh, we
juggle.
can push it up. Yeah,
Yeah, we could.
we'll
We'd might have to
discussion,
juggle it around a bit, but so episode 28 might not be episode 28 when it comes out. But we need to do it quicker than sooner than later, don't we? Yeah, we need to do this sooner than later.
I just thank you for giving me the opportunity
Yeah,
of
no
exploring some of this.
No, we need more people like yourself who are open to having that discussion and in a correct way.
Mm.
In terms of being able to voice an opinion without making it sound like an attack.
Yes.
Because
Yeah, exactly.
we're not, and we keep saying it, but we're not attacking anyone or individuals or anything like that. I think right now our sport needs that
Yeah,
push forward.
the vital signs,
Yeah.
are not good, are they?
No.
Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I think this might be one of many more that you will come on.
Oh yeah.
It's been really
No problem.
enjoyable. Your knowledge, understanding of the game is phenomenal, and thank you so much for your time and not having the chance and opportunity to watch your boys out
Oh, we're
there.
going to go do that now.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I will ask you to comment. If you've got anything to say, just comment on the podcast on YouTube, and we'll go through the comments and see what's said. Welsh Bowls, indoor lawn bowls, please, it is an attack on
That's
you.
right. Well said, Mike.
This is about instigating some change in a positive way with your involvement. We want your involvement because you've got lots to offer in that development. So it's not a personal attack. Please don't think that. I think the world of everybody is brilliant. Like, subscribe, Facebook. Thank you very much. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.